Hello and welcome to Eco Girl in a Modern World. My name is Shelley and my channel is dedicated to talking about ways to be more environmentally friendly in a modern context. So last video we had some fun. We were celebrating Halloween, and since the Halloween video got posted a week late, and I usually upload these videos every 2 weeks, I went ahead and I did the assigned video for this week, which is Fall 2023 fashion trends. So this is going to be another fashion video. I just want to preface it, if you're new to my channel, welcome. But on my channel, I really encourage natural ways of filling your closet. So, I do on this channel, it being an environmental channel, I highly encourage thrifting, buying secondhand, buying vintage. I also highly encourage buying natural fabrics like hemp, linen, silk, and wool. So as we go through the video, all of the items that I'm going to be showing you are actually primarily bought secondhand. I'll let you know if anything's bought new. Actually, to my mind, I don't think anything is new. It's going to be all thrifted and secondhand, so that's even better. But I also just want to say that there's, sometimes there's guilt that's associated with fashion trends because of course, fashion has gotten very fast. It's gotten very mass produced. And so sometimes you can feel guilty because you want to, look good. But there really shouldn't be any guilt in it. I know it's hard because we are born consumers, it's dopamine in the brain. And the other thing is that a lot of the fast fashion is purchased by younger generations. And it's just one of those things where you really want to experiment with your fashion. That's part of the fun of it, right? Half the reason when trends come out and things like that, it's a way of exploring what looks good on you, and how do you know that unless you try it, right? So it's very, counterintuitive because we want to care about the planet. We don't want, things, produced in a detrimental way with toxic chemicals and things that, poison our earth. But then we also want to enjoy the pleasure of being creative and trying on trends and trying on things that you see here, and that's what I actually love about YouTube. When you watch these videos, and I'll be posting a few videos down below that talk about thrift, going thrifting for fall fashion. And when you do that, when you watch videos about fashion trends, especially here on YouTube, it almost feels like you're talking to a friend, or that you're meeting with a good friend who's advising you as to what's hip and cool for this season. So, but I'll definitely be, if you want to check it out, I will be posting a few videos in the description box below about some of the channels that I've been watching that talk about thrifting particularly. There's a great channel, Kathleen Illustrated. Oh, she's fabulous. She loves to thrift, and she is very eco-conscious. She always, just about everything in her closet is pre-owned as well. And then there's a few other channels that I'll post that specifically talk about going to the thrift store looking for fall 2023 fashion. But I decided to go ahead and jump in. I have a list of what is trending right now, and let's jump right in. So the first trend that's been going on is mostly clothes. I'm sorry, clothes, mostly colors. So some of the big colors, and again, most of the time you think, oh, okay, colors don't really trend. This season they are. There's a lot of trending colors. One of the top colors is tomato red. And tomato red has been very popular, and to be honest, it's kind of like a Christmas color. It's kind of a fall color. It is kind of like a staple, like not a neutral, but it's almost like a base color. Red, blue, yellow. It's a primary color that you can really base a whole outfit around. But the tomato reds have been very popular, and actually, if you see the top of me here, I actually saw a picture online that I really like. liked, and I replaced one of the elements with a red shirt. This red shirt that I'm wearing, I wear all the time. It is 100% cotton. It's a mock neck long sleeve, and I've worn it more than 20 times. So that's another way you can be very environmentally friendly, is if you wear something as much as possible. We're in a culture where we wear things once and never wear it again. Pieces can be interchangeable, and you can use them a lot of different ways, and that's how you save the planet, is by not throwing anything away, by wearing what you have, right? So I've had this shirt for years, and I wear it. I wear it out walking, I wear it to work, and I saw this really great picture online of this long skirt, and maxi skirts have been another really popular thing. Denim or long maxi skirts have been very popular, but I saw a long skirt, and if I'll do a side-by-side picture. I posted this on Instagram too. I went ahead and wore the leather skirt from, I had purchased a leather skirt for my birthday a couple years back, and it's a dark brown leather, and I paired it with the red mock neck, and this is a linen and cotton blend sweater vest that I've also had for several years. It actually serves me very well in the winter time and in kind of the fall and spring, like the transitional seasons. It's all natural fibers, and it's so comfortable. It's very easy to launder, and so I kind of replicated the tomato red. Now, of course, you can always wear other pieces. It doesn't have to be a top. It could be a dress. It can be a pair of pants. I actually have a pair of pants that are very bright red, but tomato red has been a big trend. The next thing that you can see is actually a staple of pale yellow. And again, we're kind of looking at primary colors, but I think fashion is trying to be different in the fact that you saw a lot more fall colors, like you saw a lot of black for summer, and now we are seeing a lot of that kind of buttery yellow for fall. And buttery yellow can be, I mean, most of the time in fall you see the real deep golden yellow, kind of like the falling leaves, but this yellow is different. This one is like almost a pale kind of springish kind of yellow. And if you watched, was it in my, okay, it was not in Halloween, but it was before that. It was the Halloween costumes episode that I posted a couple posts back. I showed you a yellow gingham dress that I bought. And again, if you watch that video, I talked about the kind of the symbolism of yellow, but you're seeing that a lot. And it seems like, we're interjecting a little bit of pastel into the fall season. So that is another thing that you can look for. The dress that I have is pre-owned. I bought it secondhand. It's 100% cotton, and it's sleeveless, so I only probably wore it for the one day when the weather was still hot, but now that it's getting cooler, I'll probably put it away. But you see a lot of if you go to the thrift store, you find something that if you like that kind of color trend, and again, this is only if you like it. Don't, if you want to experiment with this, and you go to the thrift store or go to a secondhand marketplace, ThredUp, eBay, or Macari, and you see a lot of people posting that real soft yellow. In the same vein as soft yellow, the olive oil greens, like really soft kind of greens. It's almost like a soft green with a little bit of kind of moss color to it, but they call it olive oil green, and it can be on a gradient of that butter yellow too. Has been very popular. I've actually seen that quite a bit. A couple also in the last video, in the Halloween video, I talked about the toxic colors. That was part of the Halloween theme, and during that segment I mentioned that I did buy I bought it secondhand off eBay. I bought a beautiful sweater that was silk. It's a silk cotton blend. I really like that combination. Silk and cotton, first off, it launders very well. You can wash it on cold, delicate cycle, and just hang it up, and it dries very quickly. But I thought it was a beautiful kind of lime color, and you'll see in a minute, I love pairing kind of lime greens with navy blues. I feel like it's a beautiful contrast, and it's very fall-esque. The other thing is I did get a 100% wool blazer that I got at the thrift store for $15. I love this thing, guys. I have been wearing it so much. And I just throw it on. It makes for a good staple basic. And you'll see as I go through this video, I'm a little biased about navy, but we'll talk about that some more. But green makes for a beautiful contrast. Another thing that I saw at the thrift store just today, and the beautiful thing about going to the thrift store, and I'll post a few videos below. Again, if you watch Kathleen Illustrated's channel, she gives you some gems of tips when you're going to the thrift store. But one of the biggest boons, one of the biggest benefits of going to the thrift store is sometimes you will find something that doesn't have a tag, and you can tell that it was handmade, or it might have been made with a sewing machine, but it was made by somebody. It wasn't made by, it wasn't mass produced. And I went to the thrift store today and I just came across it. I was at the thrift store for another purpose regarding this channel, which you'll see in a couple weeks. But I was at the thrift store looking for pieces for a custom item that I have coming. But I found this beautiful two-piece, $7.99, two-piece. And one piece was a shell. And the lining of it was not silk, but the outside of it, I kind of have a keen, if you watch this channel, I have a video about how to tell if you watch the shacket video, how to tell, the end of that video tells you how to distinguish what type of material it is, even though it doesn't have a tag. And guys, I'm telling you, this thing is silk on the outside. The shell, the top, is the outside is silk, but the inside is probably some kind of a nylon or polyester. But this thing was beautiful, guys, and it was this olive oil green that we were talking about. And again, it being made out of silk, it was the shell, it was the top, and then it had this like long coat duster, like this cape, and the duster didn't have any lining. It's all silk. And I decided to go ahead and buy it because I tried it on. Again, there's no dressing rooms in the thrift store, so I tried it on and the cuffs fit me perfectly. And I just figured if I could use it, if I couldn't wear it, then I might be able to use the silk for a upcycle project. But guys, I tried it on and it's really beautiful. The top fits me really nicely, and you'll see it a few times in this video. But the other thing is that the duster can really be tied. It can be tied at the waist. It can be tied behind me, and I feel like it's going to be a nice, beautiful. You can tell that it's silk, and I just feel like it would be a nice separate piece that I could wear towards the Christmas season, because green can transition. You wear green with your tomato red and instant holiday outfit, right? And then and it's really pretty. It looks very good with navy blue though too. Now, transitioning into that, I'm talking about navy blue. Let's go ahead and transition to it. One of the other trends is, you've heard of black on black. One of the trends for fall 2023 is navy and black. And that's a little bit of a controversial kind of contrast, because navy on black sometimes can be very difficult to do. It's not an easy combination. I was actually searching videos. I follow the Vogue channel, like US Vogue, the magazine. They have a YouTube channel, and they do have a series. It's really interesting. They have a series called Ask Anna, which is Ask Anna Wintour Questions, the editor-in-chief at Vogue. And I could have sworn that in one of the episodes she had been asked about wearing all black. I did find a video where she talks about wearing all black, but she says just don't do it. that was her answer. But I could have sworn embedded in one of the other videos, and it's hard to find because analog, it doesn't. We talk a lot about different subjects. It doesn't really get organized where you can find it readily. But she did talk. I thought that she had given the advice that when you wear two dark colors, that you want to vary the textures. So if you wear, black suede and then navy blue silk, that's how you can differentiate between the two colors. And so I'm going to go with that advice. Vogue, if you're watching me, I have a beloved 6 subscribers right now, so I seriously doubt Vogue would even see this. But if someone from Vogue is watching this, and if you could tell me what episode, because I could have sworn she had said that black on black can be done. It's just if you have to vary textures to get the to make it work. But I use that same rule of advice when I do navy on black, because navy, of course, is really dark blue. Now, I'm kind of laughing at myself because I remember remember one time growing up, my sister had like an Esprit top. We grew up in the 80s, so she had an Esprit top that was red and white stripes, and then it had embroidery across the front. And I remember she used to always pair it with blue jeans, and I used to always say, well, that's black, it's not blue. And I remember I was screwing with her, honestly. We were looking, she had her face up to it. She's like, it's blue. And I'm like, no, it's black. No, it's blue. I think we run into that problem when you get into navy and black. But I do think that if you contrast, if you make, if you do different textures, if you wear, silk with wool, or, or navy blue suede with, another color, I think you can pull off that look very nicely. Now, I'm going to just show you one other way. One other thing that I do is that I do have two navy blue jackets. One is more of like kind of a jacket as a coat, and the other one's more of a structured blazer. I really love these two. I know it almost looks like a smoking jacket, but the velvet, collared one, I found at a vintage store, and it fits me so perfectly. That's another beautiful thing about buying secondhand or buying vintage. Sometimes you can find something where that measurements just jive, and if you wear that over like a black turtleneck, or and again, if you find like a silk piece to go underneath, the contrast, even if it is a dark blue, you can see it. Now, the other velvet jacket that I got was actually found at the thrift store for like $15, and it has a little bit more of a rounded collar, and it almost looks like one of those 60s tops. Like it looks very Jackie O, right? It looks like one of those two-piece sets, and I like to wear that over the green. And I actually, I'll show you the picture. I threw the jacket on over that green shell that I was telling you about, and it looks really nice. So the trend is officially navy and black, but I think you could also very easily do navy and green very easily, like navy and that olive oil green. One other thing with the olive oil green is that you don't necessarily, if you feel like it's just not your color, or you want to experiment with it a little bit first, because I know sometimes color charts are important, instead of going straight for the clothing aspect of olive oil green, you can go for the jewelry aspect of olive oil green. And one good gemstone that you can find is Peridot. And I've always been a sucker for those cluster rings, like those rounded kind of cluster stone rings. And I actually saw a beautiful Peridot cocktail ring for bid. It was an auction on eBay for starting at $30. And it was vintage, and I did go ahead and buy it. And the funny thing is, again, just like I said, the ring fits my hand perfectly. So it's not a solid size. It's a size. It's an in between size, because it was probably customized to the previous owner, and it fits me perfectly. So the Peridot, you can, any of these trends, these color trends that we're talking about, if you really don't want to commit to the clothing piece, and jewelry is a way, jewelry retains its value. If you don't like it after a couple years, you can resell it, and jewelry is a good way to add that pop of color. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about is Burgundy. Burgundy's been a very popular one, and so Burgundy is going to come in, like the maroon and burgundy colors. Very, very popular right now. And the nice thing about Burgundy is that Burgundy, if it's on the warmer side, you can really wear it with dark chocolate browns. If it's on the lighter side, you can, or on the cooler side, you can easily wear it with navy, or really dark gray. And that's another color that's been, the real charcoal gray, and especially if charcoal kind of has a pattern to it. And when you think about it, black and white is always contrasted by red, and burgundy is just kind of like a deeper red. And we're going to see in a minute, when we get into the trend of purses, I have another burgundy item. There's a color called oxblood, especially if it's leather. And again, if you buy leather pre-owned, it's not cruelty free, because that, it was created, it's authentic leather, but authentic leather is still better for the environment than PVC, fake leather. And if you buy it pre-owned, it's already in existence. So you're getting a high quality product, and it's no future cruelty because it's already made. But we're going to be talking about oxblood leather in a minute. The next thing is a dark kind of gothic romance, or, you know, and this does kind of play in a little bit of the Wednesday Addams theme, really kind of dark, you know, they call it romantic goth. But romantic goth, but basically it's dark kind of goth colors, but with a romantic element, and also dark florals. So florals, and again, we seem to be kind of pulling a little bit of spring, just like with the buttery yellow, pulling a little bit of spring in with the florals, except we're giving it a dark background. And again, here on this channel, we encourage you to rewear your pieces. So if you get a piece that kind of, you know, fits this theme, but it has elements that can, you know, kind of be carried over into other looks, other outfits, that's ideal. And then of course you want it to be a style that looks good on you and is in your colors, and is made of natural fibers if possible. So that kind of, the floral has been very popular, but as is cottagecore. Cottagecore, and also, you know, cottagecore kind of had a resurgence a couple years back with the pandemic. Everybody was kind of longing for a more natural, you know, care, you know, an organic world. And so a lot of people went back to looking at kind of prairie dresses. So cottagecore has been kind of crossed over a little bit with romantic goth, and with those dark florals, that can really be kind of a theme that you can play with. I did find a beautiful top that is kind of pinafore shaped, and it has ruffles. You've probably seen on this channel a while back, I wore an outfit in the summertime that had kind of ruffles, and ever since then I just kind of loved it. I was like, wow, I like this kind of look. I did buy this top new, but it is 100% cotton, and it kind of ties in the back, and it is a little bit of a, you know, low commitment Gunne Sachs cottagecore kind of look. I will also post a video down below by ModernGurlz, who talks about the history of Gunne Sachs. It's really kind of interesting. I remember growing up, but so you can invest, again, if you invest in a piece, or if you see something at the thrift store that's natural fibers that kind of has that frilly, you know, dark print, that is also on par. Lastly, in the themes of things, Chanel is really going to be having a big comeback. You've probably seen it percolating a little bit. A lot of the florettes, like the really kind of floral, you know, floral round bags, rosette bags, rosette on your, you know, pins and necklaces. What that is playing into Chanel, and I am going to be doing a completely separate video because it's Chanel. You're going to have to do that. But the rosette, really, the reason that it's on the fashion radar is because it's taking after the Chanel's gardenia. And the Chanel's gardenia is one of their symbols of their house. And the gardenia is it's a very frilly flower, and it was a favorite of Gabrielle Chanel because, first off, it had no scent. So when you wore it, it didn't have that type of flower doesn't have a strong fragrance of its own. Therefore, it's a beautiful white flower that doesn't conflict if you're wearing Chanel No. 5. If you're wearing, you know, if you're wearing any of the perfumes, it doesn't compete with it. But that's also another thing that's really been on the radar. The other thing is that I will be, when I do the other video, I'll be showing you, I did find at a vintage shop for $30, and actually the vintage shop, the proceeds go to help people get dressed to do job interviews. So it was a very, very good cause. It's a beautiful store that I go to that all of the proceeds go to helping other people. But I did find a beautiful tweed jacket. And so as you go into fall, and especially winter, you know, January, you probably will be seeing more of the colored tweed with the 4 pockets. You'll be seeing long strands of pearls, and I'll show you actually in this picture the pearls I'm wearing. I've owned for more than 20 years. I've worn more than 10 times. I've had that necklace for a very, very long time. But if you can, and there are eco-friendly ways. I'll show you in the Chanel video, but there's, if you look for kind of, I found a really cute flower purse at the thrift store for like $1, and it has a rosette right on it. So if you can look for round purses, rosettes, and anything, you could even crochet it if you want, but something that kind of looks like a white gardenia, that's going to be very in for fall. Also tweed coats, that's another thing, is that, you know, that kind of Chanel pattern, tweed coats, also dark charcoal overcoats. Again, we talked about burgundy and charcoal. Dark charcoal overcoats are going to be very, very big. Now, in that same vein, because we're talking about kind of fall textures, corduroy is a big one. I mean, it's not really, I haven't seen it on like the main list, but I am seeing corduroy out there. Now, corduroy pants are very warm. You can get it in an all cotton variety, but the one problem I've always had with corduroy pants is that corduroy, when you wear corduroy pants, that your inner thighs do rub together, so you kind of make a sound when you walk in corduroy. It's like, and it also wears down, you know, because corduroy is a kind of material that has ridges and also wears down in those areas. So just a caution, just a real world caution for that. But I did also find at a thrift store a beautiful bright teal, and again, you can get into the bright colors, a bright teal corduroy jacket, like a blazer, and it had the brown buttons, so very, very cool. And again, you can kind of wear it with your neutrals. One other neutral, it is kind of trending a little bit, but dark browns. It seems like instead of going with straight black, I mean, if you're doing romantic goth, of course, do black, but it seems like fashion is trying to not use black as the go-to staple. It is trying to use, you know, so other staples, other neutrals that you can use are navy blue, like you see me using throughout this video, dark brown, and charcoal gray. And I've been actually I've been using a lot of charcoal, dark chocolate brown. I found 100% Italian wool sweater that's by Eileen Fisher, which is a very good eco house. And I got it secondhand for $20, and I've been wearing it over. I actually wore it over some bright yellow, and it looked really, really fabulous. So you could probably kind of cross over, you know, your butter yellow. Your green would probably look good with brown too, and definitely, you know, navy blue. But this teal jacket looked great with a brown top, and that looked great. Now, getting into accessories and a few other things. First off, big 80s earrings have been popular, and God, that I'm so proud of that. I love me some 80s earrings. And real quick, before I show you the picture, in the Halloween post, I talked about re-wearing, you know, thrifting your Halloween costume, but make it pieces that you can re-wear. There was actually what I wore underneath my Barbie costume. I found a great button down that had a white lapel collar, and I have been wearing the heck out of that, guys. I've been like, you know, it's been a good versatile piece that I can wear under things. And it's kind of low commitment because I don't have to worry about getting it dirty. If I get it dirty, it wasn't, you know, and it's 100% cotton, but I wear it under, you can wear it under a sweatshirt, and it gives a nice little collared look to something. And I did have some I have some huge oval earrings that are very 80s-esque, and they were bought pre-owned. I found it at the antique mall, and they're very pretty. They were ceramic big oval earrings, but big 80s earrings is popular. And I've already integrated some of those outfits. Now, also, one other thing that you're going to see, especially towards the turn of the new year, because it's kind of a New Year's thing, is a lot of metallic. I see a lot of metallic out there, particularly silver, but my thing is metallic is metallic. You don't really have to. I prefer to go when I'm doing metallic, because just about every single time it's going to be a synthetic fiber. There's really, unless you're wearing silk, there's really no fabrics that are 100% natural that are going to give you that shine. Silk does, but anytime you have silver or some kind of metallic in something, and actually at Anthropologie I saw some sparkle panties. That is some straight up acrylic. That is some straight up, it's not environmentally friendly. Your buttocks is going to be, you know, be spangled. You're going to, you know, you have some shiny nether regions, but Other than that, metallics almost always are of some kind of really horrible, not good for the environment kind of material. So I like to limit metallic to being my accessories like purses and shoes. And for shoes, I actually have a pair of Reebok high tops that I've owned for years. They are vintage from the 80s. And back in the 80s, you know, they do also come in yellow too, which if you want, again, the butter yellow theme. But I got them in the metallic blue and they look very nice. You know, bought pre-owned inexpensively. They fit me perfectly and they're very comfortable. And they feed my 80s retro side. But the other thing is I do also have a Coach bag that I bought more than 5 years ago that's called a Dinky Metallic, and it's a pretty blue metallic, and it is a metallic leather kind of purse. It probably does have PVC on the outing of it, but inside it's just black leather, and I pull it out every New Year's anyway. So it's kind of my New Year's purse. It's my winter purse. I've been using it for that purpose every single year, so I don't feel like I have to really go out and buy something new. I don't go out and buy new things, but that looks beautiful. It's not silver, but it's blue and it's metallic and it's gorgeous. And it really does. It kind of gives you that January kind of frosted vibe, you know, after you get past, you know, the holidays with the bright reds and the greens and, you know, it's kind of like a nice winter transition, you know, into Valentine's Day. Now, the next one other accessory that I'm seeing a lot is bows. Bows have been huge, and I'm not quite sure. I post a great video, and you can get introduced to Kathleen Illustrated. She's got a fabulous channel. I binge watch her channel. She's so cool. But she talks about why bows are popular. But while I'm in these big stores, I have seen bow everything. Like I've seen bow headbands, I've seen bow clips, and guys, I have seen like for a set of 3 bow clips that are just basically ribbon tied to a clip for $30. So, you know, price is not so much important to me as you, but just tie the bow in your hair. Tie the bow in your hair, right? And actually, we'll see in a minute when we talk about purses. This is actually a silk scarf that I got at a thrift store that supports the vision impaired, and this is a Bill Blass silk scarf, and this actually looks great with tied around the neck. It looks fabulous with some of those navy blue wool. Oh gosh, guys, it just looks really cool. But you can very easily, my hair's not down right now, but you can easily tie a bow around your hair. You know, so if you need to tie up your hair, you can do it. Also, just take some leftover ribbon that you have and maybe tie a small bow, or if you can upcycle it very easily. If you have an old hair clip that's broken and maybe you still have the clip part, just tie a bow around it and reuse it. I just feel like that's the easiest way. And goodness knows we're going into the holiday season. You're going to get a lot of pretty ribbon. A lot of gifts come with pretty ribbon. I keep them all, you know, so you can do your bows. Now, one other accessories way with the bows is that I do also have a pair of vintage earrings that are bows that are actually gold that were my grandmother's. So I've worn them a lot. So if you want, you can. And again, I feel like this is more of a festive thing. Now, another huge trend is clutch purses. Clutch purses. And let me just preface this. My mom, okay, so with clutch purses, there's a brand of clutch purses that's called Etienne Aigner. And I know that sounds very French. Believe it or not, it's not French, it's German. But Etienne Aigner is a bag designer, if you can see that was very popular in the 80s. And again, this is leather, and this is that oxblood that I was telling you about. But growing up, Etienne Aigner was the really popular purse brand. It was almost like the Coach of its time. And my mom always loved buying their purses because they were quality made and they came in the pretty colors and styles. But it was funny, we used to joke about it. My mom is multilingual. She speaks she grew up in Spain, in mainland Spain, and so she speaks Spanish fluently, and she knows a little bit of French, but she knows how to pronounce Etienne Aigner very well. But it's funny, we used to joke about it all the time, that we used to purposely mispronounce the name. We used to say, you know, we used to call it an Agner, because when you look at it, it's spelled Aigner. So when you think about it, if you don't know how to pronounce it in the language, you call it, you know, in American it would be Agner. So we always joked, anytime we were going somewhere, we would say, hey, grab your Agner and let's go, you know, which was pretty much code for grab your fancy purse, we're going shopping, right? But clutch purses, so Etienne Aigner, if you're going to the thrift store, you can look for one of these. This is what we're talking about. Now, some of these purses can also have a handle on it, and I'll actually put up a picture. So I got this one at the thrift store for like $10, and guys, this is my baby. I love this purse. And this is a bigger one, and it's got a zip pocket. And the funny thing is, I've got paper in it, but it's even got, this holds my cell phone perfectly, and then it holds my wallet and my keys, and you just put it under your arm. Now, I'm going to show you a few other pictures. I did also find a patent leather purse that is vintage, and when you open up the patent leather, there's a handle that flips out, and gosh, that's my other baby. I got that for like, I found that at the antique mall for like $10. One of the other purses that I have is it's more of like a framed purse, but it opens, and it's also a vintage one that's very, very pretty, and I'll put pictures of it. It's so gorgeous, and it's versatile. It holds my phone, it holds like a card case, and then I have a small set of keys that I can just throw in, and it's good to grab and go. So these are the styles. Clutch purses are very popular for fall. Now, the only problem with clutch is that if you get sore in your wrist or under your arm, you will feel it if you've held your purse under your arm for like several hours. That is something that's, you know, clutches are not easy, but we have seen a couple of, like I did see one clutch in a store that had kind of like a handle. It had like kind of like a little, it had an area where you can hold it, like you can slip your hand in, and it you know, it holds. So that's one thing that you might see. Again, I encourage thrifting. I wouldn't encourage, unless you know this is going to be a permanent staple piece, I wouldn't buy it new. But you know, this is the kind of, you know, clutch. The other thing is that you can use kind of more of your slouchy clutches, where if it does have a handle, you can kind of flatten the handle down where you don't really see it so much. That's another way that you can do this trend. But clutch purses are very popular, and again, with that burgundy oxblood color, I love my, I've been sporting my Agner. Now, the next, speaking of handles, so you saw that one bag had kind of like a flip out handle option. One other one that you see is that you are going to see a rise of more structured purses, like the more square purses that have handles. So that's another purse trend that's going to be really big. Now, what I immediately think of is the Kelly bag. The Kelly bag is a Hermes bag that is very structured, and it's named after Grace Kelly, and because she used to carry that bag when she was pregnant with her first child with Prince Rainier of Monaco. And so it's a very square type of bag. Now, the original Kelly bag is very expensive. You have to get on a wait list, and it's like $12,000 if that, then that's on the cheap side. But it's a very square kind of structured bag. And what I'm seeing is handled purses being very popular, but one type of handled bag that is very easy to acquire is maybe like and again, it's, you see with the Kelly bag, it's very structured and kind of those British tan kind of colors, those browns that are very good for fall. But I'm seeing kind of like a triangular type of bag, and I actually have two of them. I have a dark velvet navy blue one, and then I also found a Coach one from the 90s that I did get for $30. This was a good deal because honestly, it's a little beat up. It's a little, and actually here, I'll show it to you, but it's a little bit beat up. The one I got, the reason that it was less expensive is because it has a lot of wearing on it. You see the wear. Also, it didn't have the strap. And but this is a vintage bag, and it does have the flap in the back. Everything else about it was perfectly fine, but I bid and I won, and when it got to me, I moisturized it real good. So this is the type of bag that you can see. And again, you could go with different versions. It doesn't have to be the solid leather one, even though this one would be very traditional. This one looks very this looks very quiet luxury, which is also another trend, very normcore. You know, the blazers and the structured bags. If you go with a solid leather, but you know, you could also go with the other velvet version that I have, works just as well, and it also has the flap. Now, one thing is, I noticed that I don't have a strap for this, but I do have a strap that's a similar color that I use for another bag that I could kind of, you know, interchange. One other thing is that Coach does have, they have like a chain link kind of clip-on that's made of 70% recycled resin. That, you know, so it kind of acts like an interchangeable. That's a good way to kind of do a modern twist on this type of traditional bag. The last thing that I noticed is that at the same place that I got my scarf, and oh, one other thing, with scarves, you can, just like you saw in the Kelly picture, this is very popular. You can tie your scarf around the handle of the bag, and that looks very, very classy. And I'll actually post a picture down, a video down below. There's a video about 24 hours with Cindy Crawford, and she does this with her bag. So Cindy can do it, you know that's stylish, right? But, you know, but the one other thing, the same place that I got this silk scarf, the same vintage store, they had a vintage belt. And this is a trend that I'm going to interject. So, it hasn't been in the list, but I've seen since a lot of round bags are coming back into popularity, like I see the, what do they call it? Water canteen bags. They call the round bags canteen bags, but those canteen bags can very also easily have what they call a camera strap kind of strap to it, and which is a woven pattern strap. That's another real popular thing that you've been seeing. That's been kind of percolating. I haven't seen it on the mainstream trend list, but I found a belt from the 70s. The same time I got the vintage silk scarf for like nothing. It was like $7. It had a little bit of a rusted clip, but everything about the belt was perfectly clean, perfectly fine. I'm going to cut off the clip, and I'm going to turn that, and I'm going to make that a separate video, but I'm going to turn that into clips for this bag. And I just held the belt up to the bag just for comparison. And gosh, guys, it looks so pretty. So that's going to be an upcycle, but basically an old vintage belt that I'm going to turn into like a camera bag strap. And then, of course, if you have any round bags, like canteen shaped bags, those would be perfect for that type of strap too. But the scarf actually ties into a good example. One other big thing for fall is going to be blanket scarves. So we're kind of getting away from your traditional scarf and going for the more big square, you know, like if you wrap it around your face, it looks like you're wrapped in a blanket kind of scarf. And so one thing that I did go with, and this was actually, again, I'm so funny. I'm such an 80s girl. You know, when I watch Alyssa Bell Tempo's videos, she talks about your 3 words that describe your style, and one of them pertains to the 80s, but one of my words pertains to the 80s. But I like to, with the 80s style, one thing that Princess Diana wore back in the day that was a real statement piece. It kind of sent a message. Is she wore this sweater that had a bunch of little white sheep and one black sheep. Like she was the black sheep of the family. And it was a little controversial at the time, but it was an adorable sweater, and it was such a statement when she wore it. But I did find kind of a blanket scarf that's 100% wool, because it is going to start getting cold. I think we're going to, you know, where I live, we're looking at one of the most record coldest winters. But I'm gonna, it has little sheep on it. Not all of them are black, but I think, well, maybe it is like the theme, but I just thought it was really cute, and it is one of those wide scarves, and I think it's going to keep me very warm. And you could absolutely style that as you're wearing your turtlenecks or your layering pieces, because that's another thing, is wearing a lot of layering pieces. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything, you know, guys. Of course, quiet luxury is still popular. Power dressing is really popular, you know, like strong shoulders. But, you know, these are the trends that are trending. Now, one other thing that I'm doing for the month of November is, once this video posts, so I'm a few days into November. It's not the entire month, but I'm committing to making, so since Thanksgiving is coming up, I'm committing to making November a no-buy November. Meaning that, and you've probably seen other videos that talk about this, other than just food and necessities that I really, really need, like toothpaste, shampoo, which I am stocked on, so I should not need to buy any of that. Other than just basic daily necessities, I am not going to be spending money on anything else. I'm going to hold off on buying any other gifts. I got a good start on Christmas, and so not buying any other gifts. I'm not gonna go to the thrift store. I'm not gonna buy any other clothes, whether online or anything else, just so I can be thankful for the pieces that I already have. So that's my goal. I'm gonna do a no buy November to be thankful for what I have, to wear what I have. Get creative with it, like we talked about. You know, let me use the pieces I've got and fulfill these trends the way I need to, and then see how I feel by the beginning of December, because it is a little bit of a habit. You know how they always say it takes 21 days to create a habit. I think shopping online and that dopamine hit that you get, and especially, and it's probably going to be challenging because I'll be hitting the 3rd week mark right at the Friday following Thanksgiving, which is the retail. You know, it's the Friday everyone shops. I've never really ever been big into that. Like, I've never gotten up early. That doesn't appeal to me, but I do get a dopamine hit when I buy off eBay and I see something really cute that I want. So I'm going to try to get into that mindset and be no buy November. I do have a few friends who do no shave November. So I won't be doing that. I'll still be shaving my legs. But sorry, guys. Props to anyone who wants to do that. If you want to make it a no shave November, you can do that too. That's, hey. That's, we're going to be, a lot of us are going to be wearing a lot of chunky sweaters and vests and things like that. So, and pants, you won't be able, who's going to know? How would they know? So, but I will let you know how it's going, especially as I move along. But no buy November, and a way to be grateful and thankful, and also to see what gifts I can give, or what things I can do that doesn't involve spending money. I think that's always a positive thing, right? If you don't spend, there's no impact on the earth. So hopefully, well, other than food, just food. But I thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you had a good time. If there's anything that I left off the list that you think I should have put on the list, please let me know by commenting down below. I will be back again in 2 weeks, so every 2 weeks, so I'm going to take a little bit of downtime and enjoy. But I hope we're all dressing well, keeping warm, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.